Hello for today. Today was more a contemplative day. I spend it most of the time reading. Well, actually, maybe I can talk a little bit about how a working day works, because it's all about finding ideas, and I'm working on making new work, or making like a new artwork, or whatever it will be. But like, how do you generate ideas? And I think I have kind of developed a method, or like maybe even a methodology, or certain like several methods that work for me. So for example, I will get up and I will answer some emails, and then I will train a little bit. Like now here I'm doing yoga, because it's the easiest thing to do inside in the aircon, with the aircon on. And then I cook, I read, I danced a bit even. Sometimes I like practice my voice, I sing. So, and then I read again, and then I research something on the internet. So like, it's all these different activities actually that somehow then bring me to the point where I actually can, where ideas come. So today while I was cooking, I had a new idea, but it was not the cooking that made it. I think it was like all this array of things I was doing, all these activities, like in the end bring me to the point of having an idea, which then feels like progress, but maybe isn't. Like, it's just like something you can name. An idea is, I guess, something that you can name, but often I feel that ideas already exist in my mind, but I can't name them. And as soon as when I'm cooking and I have like the urge to go and write something down, this is when actually I feel I've achieved something. It's very funny. Like, it's still, I think we work very like much from your head, right? Because ideas, they circle around in my body a lot of times, but I can't name them. So I feel I don't have them, which is not entirely true, because I developed a sense for knowing that I'm onto something, that I'm on the track to this consciousness, or to this like conscious making of an idea, which then feels like I've achieved something. So I've kind of somehow learned to develop a feeling for something which I cannot name, but from experience from former projects and the same processes, I can say that this is happening in a way. Anyway, voila. I continued reading Nicolas Bourriard, and he says something really interesting, which reminded me a lot of this conversation, which still resonates through the whole day today, of course. He says, the common point between all things that we include within the umbrella terms of work of art lies in their ability to produce a sense of human existence within this chaos called reality. So, he's talking about relational art, and how the artwork is no longer something stable and something you can look at from outside only, but something that everyone is immersed, everyone is like a participator or a participant, and that actually an artwork must have this duality, or like must be able to must be open to this dialogue of the consumer and the work itself. If it's not, he says, it's like not an artwork. So for example, he says, the first question we should ask ourselves when looking at a work of art is, among others, could I live in a space-time structure corresponding to it in reality? So this means basically in relational art, or in modern artworks, we are not only looking to communicate an utopia, but we are trying to really create real utopias, let's say, like create a time and space for a performative work, or for like something, for an artwork, to create a time and space where people can participate and can actually go through something that is real. So it's more like models for reality, or like maybe models for change as well. So that's what he says. Yeah, so this new idea which came to my mind while cooking today, it comes from the idea that something that arose yesterday in the communication as well, when this woman I met yesterday in Larnaca, when she asked me about how I liked Larnaca, and I said to her, well, what I said here in the blog as well yesterday, I said like, oh, there's so many bodies that almost covered the whole place, and so many bodies that are here and that don't really, and she took my phrase and she said my sentence and she said, don't really belong here. And I like kind of jumped because I suddenly like, and I said, no, I'm not sure if you can say belong, but they haven't been here for a long time, and maybe that's what someone feels, you know. But this made me think that we actually, history really very often makes a connection between space and body, right? Like all these thinkings or dialogues about colonization is really about that as well. And also the problem of racism, or of how many in Switzerland, how many immigrants or refugees, or you know, so-called refugees, whatever they call them, how many of them can stay, and why can't they? Because place is reserved for Swiss people, or what? So, and also of course, like this, the whole thing, it's a bit far now, but this, like what we were talking about in Western Sahara a lot, of course, these people had been nomads before, so there was no question of body and place. And suddenly here in Cyprus this becomes really important, because as I say to you again, but I'm so interested, or so like fascinated by this process, that someone draws a line on a map, and I was looking for the word for the during the whole day, and my old professor from Bern University, he won't believe that I couldn't come up with the word virtuality. So basically, like something virtual was drawn on a line in this meta, like in this other world, let's say, in this virtual world of a map, like representational map of Nicosia. He draws a line, and then so many bodies have to leave the space where they are and are moved to another space. This is something that it resonates with me a lot. So I suddenly had the idea that maybe instead of doing this performance with the loudspeakers and the participating audience, maybe it would be somehow more interesting to somehow use my body as a performer to bring part of the public space from the north to the south and from the south to the north. So kind of like whatever part of a public space might be, you know, but kind of like somehow embody something from the public space from each side of Cyprus, and bring it or perform it, or bring it somehow to the other side. So like, I'm not sure yet. I have to think about my role as an artist within that. But this could mean that the body of me as an artist is like a manifestation of reality that doesn't exist yet, really. Could be a carrier of utopia, could be an investigator at the same time, and also, of course, a place for projection, maybe, or mirroring. I'm not sure yet. So I think I've talked about that the day before yesterday, that I'm looking into creating a methodology for investigating public space. But I have been reading about this term methodology, and I think it's sometimes used a bit wrongly, or like it's sometimes used interchangeable with methods. But actually, as I understand it, art methodology would mean that, for example, a printer, he paints, be it out of his memory, be it with actually a subject in front of him, or be it just he paints of this object what he already knows about the object. You know, and I think a methodology, so these are 3 different methods. A methodology would like acknowledge them, and then also look at the brush, for example, at the canvas, at how he holds, like like everything which is actually making the action of painting. A methodology would investigate that. So a methodology is really like a meta level. I'm not sure if this is an English word, but in German it definitely exists, something like that. So it's something that actually a methodology investigates different methods to then come to findings. So if I would do this performance here, whatever it is, this would mean that this is a method, just one of different methods, which, like, in addition with others, then eventually could form a methodology. And so I have like formulated another like sentence, what it could mean. So this would mean that I create a performative sound art methodology to investigate particular qualities of a public space, either connected to a particular place or to its inhabitants. And of course, this, because it's a meta level, this like goes vice versa as well. So each particular public space would also help to investigate sound arts or performative sound arts as a method. So I'm quite happy with these with these findings today. I'm really I'm quite pleased. So this contemplative day definitely makes sense for now. Did I forget something? Yeah, probably, but I think we should stop because this is a really long one and I have been talking a lot. Okay, thanks for listening. Anyway, please help me make things clear by commenting or writing to me, whatever. Bye.